Now, what makes really, when you look at Team Lillard, there's a lot of different Team 7-on-7s out there, a plentiful amount of ones regional-wise.
Yeah, all over the country.
But what makes your organization different from the others there in the football, when it comes to football development landscape? You know, what is that like?
I mean, I don't know if I can say it just makes us different because I don't know what all other, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but
for you,
for
team,
us,
for your
I know that
organization.
we care. I know every single coach is invested. I know that it's built solely with the purpose of being genuine, being hard work, and it's not based around trying to create money and just get a whole bunch of money from people. Like, we really care about investing in the kids and their future and their life, and we want to help them. Like, I think the whole ultimate goal for us is just helping them. Like, we don't want to just go win tournaments. We don't want to just play in games. Like, we want to help you prepare for college, prepare for life, prepare for college camps when they come. Just be prepared for everything that's coming. And in the meantime, we're going to get a scholarship. We're going to go to college.
Let me ask you this. Does it sometimes when you talk about parents, you know, they're wanting the best for their children and they're wanting the best for them as far as also life lessons, you know, involved. But sometimes, you know, there are challenges within that. You know, sometimes, to be real, sometimes they have one parent in the single parent home life, or it's a situation where maybe that kid cannot afford that. Do you ever run into those challenges, and how influential is that for your coaching staff?
And honestly, that's kind of the reason. That was one of the reasons I started the program as well, because I had a lot of kids who I've trained and worked out who would say that, you know, they were paying X amount of dollars and parents said they weren't doing it, but they wanted to play. And I was like, well, I have an opportunity to create a lower budget by getting some products and things like that at a lower rate. And I don't need money to get help. I don't need money for you to play. Like, as long as you can come, work hard, and maybe travel and stuff like that, or show me other ways, write papers, essays, or whatever I could think of, or keep high grade point average, then we can work through things. You know what I mean? We can find ways to make payments and stuff like that. But we just really want to focus on growth and don't let financial burdens be the reason that you don't have the opportunity that others have who can afford it.
I mean, I think the thing too is that when you talk about time spent,
time
is such an important factor when you're talking about kids, investing that time with them, because sometimes it can be, if you have a dual working home family life, or both their parents are working, they don't get sometimes a little bit of that.
They don't really feel the kids want to know that you care. Like, the biggest thing I learned is that these kids want to know that you care. Everybody is walking around with a big wall up. And thinking that they have to do it on their own, they need to grow up now. And it's like, be a kid, you know, ask for help, ask questions, seek for information. Like, don't just walk around thinking nobody wants to help you. And it's crazy that people don't show they want to help. So I really wanted just me and the staff and the people around us to just show that we cared and to show that we wanted to help. And I mean, and we got guys getting high grade point averages,
there you go.
Getting scholarships and having a different approach at life. So it's kind of been working.
So there's been some walls you've had to bring down a couple times, right?
Yeah,
with
a lot of
kids?
long talks. We have a lot of, and it's not to say like, you know, inner city or outer city, but we have a lot of kids who have a lot of responsibility, go to work every day, help at home, pay bills. And I think a lot of people take that for granted, that kids are really living adult lives. You know, I have one of my kids, no parents are around, you know, so it's just, you never know what's going on. So you have to ask those questions. You have to let them know it's okay to open up. And then when they open up, you have to be willing to, you know, talk back and respond. You can't just, too much going on. You have to respond. And when you respond, now they see that it's okay and that it's not a normal behavior, but people care, so.
Tell me a success story, though. You may have a couple, a success story of one of your kids that have left maybe Team Lillard, but have come back and really maybe checked in with you. Hey, coach, you know, this is what I'm doing now. You know, any success stories that you've kind of noticed with one of your kids or anything like you can think of?
I can say maybe Marcus Cunningham, MJ Cunningham.
MJ Cunningham.
I think he's a kid. He didn't really put a lot into football. He just was naturally gifted, just because of his basketball background. And he came to Team Lillard, and I told him, like, you're not playing quarterback.
Automatically, you hear like
you play quarterback, man. You're playing linebacker.
Right.
And I would send him texts often just to let him know, like, just challenge him, and he responded. He showed up every time. He was on time, and he worked hard. And he's turned himself into one of the top linebackers in the West Coast. He just committed to the University of Oregon, and just 3 months ago he was unknown. And
Wow.
he put in work. He got his grades together. He started working out, and when he got on the field, it just showed his natural ability turned into like real talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about those kids that you have there. We'll get into that. But I think the thing is too is that what is it that the parents of these kids, what do they like about your organization? Because again, we're talking about Team Lillard, the organization, and we want to promote that.
Right.
And that you have a special organization going on. What kind of parent feedback have you gotten?
Well, a lot of the parents just love the fact that we express real interest in the boys. We don't just play football and then
that's it.
Yeah. We haven't had a tournament in, I say, 2-3 months, and I keep in contact with 80% of the kids, and if I don't, whoever their position coach was, I continue to remind them, like, check on this guy, check on that guy, because the goal is to go to college. And they still have a whole another year of high school, a whole summer to prepare for. So it's not like, oh, June is here, we're done. Like, we're doing work that doesn't consist of practice. It's just mentoring. Now we just stand on their mind, reminding them what's important, and trying to make sure those habits that we worked on carry over into 12 months a year instead of just the 5 months we're together. So a lot of that is just staying in contact with them, so the parents love it because we kind of have extra voice.
Right, and I mean, the thing about it is that have you noticed about that when you're talking about these parents, have you been able to see how they give you this feedback and it is positive, and that they keep coming back?
Right. It's the funniest thing is just like it turns into a point where the parents be like, "Can you call him? Because he just," and it's like, dang, I feel like I'm kind of like
now you're the parent.
Exactly. Now I'm the parent, but it's when a parent understands that their child sees an outlet, and if you see this as an outlet, then know that there's accountability that comes from an outlet. So now that gives me a chance to say, why are you doing this if you know X, Y, and Z? And they look at me and they know I've come at them in so many other ways that it's real, it's raw. It's not like I'm trying to be mad. I'm not yelling at you. I give you love all the time, but today we're going to talk about what you need to fix. And they like, you right, Hugh.
Yeah, I mean, the coaches, and it's funny, when you talk about assembling that,
Right.
A variety of coaching and a flavor, right?
Right.
They each have different experiences that they experienced through their life of football that they can maybe help that kid be a forward thinker. Because it is that you're talking about now, but it's also you have to think forward.
Right.
As far as, because again, yeah, maybe they're talking about grade school, whatever, but you're going to high school, you got to be thinking about the next level right away, right?
Right. You getting prepared for, like I tell, it's crazy you said that, prepare for the next level, because one of my little cousins are in town right now, and he's an 8th grader, and I asked him, I was like, what you getting ready for? Yeah. He was like, I'm getting ready for 8th grade. And I was like, you getting ready for varsity,
Right.
I just started telling him, like, you getting ready for varsity.
It's a mindset.
And he was looking at me like I was crazy, but I was like, you have to be prepared for what you don't see. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself on the highest level. Don't put yourself where you're supposed to be.
Or where you're at now.
Yeah, like, no, I want to be where you are. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Chase what you want to be. So just getting in the mindset of not putting a cap on what you want and what you want to be and stuff like that is kind of the basis of what we preach, and just be as big as you can be.
So now we're going to get to those players. Yeah, I tell you, we talked about one about MJ Cunningham, 3-star linebacker who just committed to Oregon.
Yeah.
Nobody had him on the radar at all.
Nobody.
Which you find surprising.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how many kids are like that in Oregon. It's a lot of talent.
Is it people that just miss this? I mean, we always talk about on the FATT Show pipelines, when we talk about, the different regions, Texas, maybe the Northwest. I mean, in a sense, we're going to highlight that. But, you're talking about California, you're talking about the Midwest, you're talking about the South. So, again, there's a lot of hotbeds of talent. But sometimes even in the Northwest, that's being missed and overlooked here in Oregon.
Well, I'm not from here, so at first I didn't think there was a lot of talent here. And just from the last year, there's so many kids who just don't put in the effort because it's raining all the time, or nobody's spending that time to help them, who help the kids who can't afford. That's the best way to say it. The kids who can't afford, nobody's putting a plan together for those kids,
right?
Because it doesn't have financial return. So that's
you bring that. It's a very interesting. You bring that up.
exactly.
Yeah,
if there's no financial return, nobody wants to be involved. Everybody wants to be involved with something they can gain from it. So I kind of take the approach. I used to call myself the ghetto trainer, because as long as you come work hard, we can work. And that's why I kind of, turned into what it is now. But nobody wants to help the kids who can't bring money to the table.
So what do you find as a challenge with these kids now these days? I mean, I can think of one, probably video games. Phones and things of that sort. So you have to really work with them to say, hey, look, it's time to work.
And just expectation. You know what I mean? I don't think they expect great things, all of them. I think they just comfortable with the norm. Whatever the norm is, they just want to get there, and then it's good. They don't want to just keep going. And if they do, they don't want to take the steps. They want to do the shortcut. They want to go Google the answer. You know what I mean? And opposed to when we were growing up, we couldn't Google nothing.
There's no Google.
You had to figure it out.
Right.
And when you figure it out, you learn from what you go through trying to figure it out. And nowadays, everything is just right in your face. So that's the biggest problem. Keeping that tension.
So let's start with the one of your kids, 4-star. We talked about MJ Cunningham,
right.
But a 4-star, athlete, Braden Lindsay. Now this is he had recently flipped his commitment from Notre Dame to Oregon.
Right.
And this kid, what is it about him that's so special?
Speed.
Okay.
Speed.
And again, he's going to Oregon, so I mean
Right.
that's speed there, right?
That boy.
But what is about his speed and what else?
Man, he's just a good kid. He's an ultra competitor, and this year was the first time I got to really get to know him. I've heard a lot about him, but I wasn't involved with football in Oregon, so I didn't know him. And he's a great person. He cheers on the team. He's a leader. He's not a follower at all, and he's a humble dude. He works really hard, competitive, but he just understands what he does well. I think he's one of those kids you find who just he's comfortable in his skin. Like, he's not going to step outside of his box to be something he's not. And the earlier you can figure that out, you find people like him who can be prepared for college, know where they want to go, make decisions, and
decisive.
Exactly, he's very decisive. You know what I mean? He understands how to articulate things. He's an impressive kid.
Now,
off the field.
Were you on the inside of a little bit of a, hey, I may be flipping from Notre Dame to Oregon?
No, man.
No. You didn't have no input of that.
I leave that up to the family.
Okay.
His dad got him under. His dad got him under control. His family, and he gets it. He can make decisions.
So he comes from a good foundation as well.
Oh yeah, really good foundation and solid too.
Yeah, that's which is important.
You got a good little mix.
So another one we talk about is the latest commitment, Jake Ducart. Now he committed to Civil War. The Oregon State Beavers. A quarterback standout, but also a baseball star.
Yeah.
This guy's quite a kid.
Jake, I call him Dookie.
Dookie,
yeah.
Okay.
I told him he couldn't change his name until he got better. But I met him, he was actually one of the first kids I met when I broke my leg. The first quarterback I ever started training.
Really?
Wow. He was a sophomore, the backup at Lake Oswego, and we just started working. And it's just his approach was always business. You know what I mean? You never could get a gauge on how he felt. But he's always ready.
He's a worker.
He's a worker. He's just a man's man.
Because you know how sometimes with some of these kids is that they have the ability, right?
Yeah.
They come in with ability. They come in with all of these as a package.
Right.
But then there's some kids that really have to put in the work.
Yeah.
They don't have that ability.
He's a worker. He's a worker, and he's always had the demeanor, but he quite didn't have the quarterback mentality yet. He was committed to Arizona State for baseball.
Oh,
when I met him. So he's a locked-in baseball guy. And over the years, we've developed a good relationship. I like to call us friends just because he's like the first guy I started with. But he's grown about 4 inches since I met him, about 6'3" now.
Oh, my word.
And he's ready. He's just ready. He's just, he's wired differently. A lot of it's about 6 of these guys on my team who just, it's like they had a plan in 8th grade and they stuck to it
and ran with it.
Yeah,
and Oregon State's getting a good kid.
Oh yeah, really good. And he's coming in.
Good foundation too, family wise.
Oh yeah, his dad Derek.
Oh wow.
Text me out the blue. Make sure he works.
Oh, there you go.
Make sure he works.
So you got support from family. That's great.
Definitely have to.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Another one is some in Oregon have heard of this last name. Trey Lowe, 4-star athlete out of Jesuit.
Yeah.
His brother Keenan Lowe played for Oregon, also went to Jesuit. But he has committed to the Washington Huskies. So this is a 4-star athlete. Now, tell me, what is it about that makes him different? Now, you knew Keenan. As far as Trey, what makes
Yeah.
him different from his brother?
Well, I never really met Keenan. Like I told you, I'm from the Bay Area, so I've talked to him on Twitter back and forth a little. He was in the Bay Area with the 49ers, I think, earlier this spring.
Okay.
But from what I heard, Keenan was really fast. You know what I mean? Really shifty and a good receiver. But Trey's just a different guy. Like he doesn't talk a lot. You won't know who he is in the crowd.
He's quiet.
You won't. If we were in the room, you would not know Trey Lowe as Trey Lowe. And I like that about him. You can't really read him, but he's just ready to go fight. Speed, strength, quickness.
Wow.
He's an impressive guy.
So Chris Peterson has a good kid on
his team. He has
good family too, I know.
Yeah, he's coming in to play right away.
Wow.
He's not coming to
Okay.
Trey was unguardable all spring. He played slot. He played Z receiver with us. I never seen him run a route, and he played tailback all high school. Came out and just ran every route, just untouchable.
What makes these 4 kids, and I call them your kids in a way because you're helping them, teaching them, but they're growing, right? But what's one piece that's interwoven between them? What good quality could you say interwoven between all these 4?
All 4 of them definitely are furious competitors.
Okay.
Furious. Like, they won't back down from nobody. They won't shy away from a moment. They're ready for whatever. Like, Marcus, Braden, Trey, and Jake will all ask for the ball. And for the last...
They won't shy away from it.
They won't shy away from the moment. And I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. So
was that something that you knew that they had, or was that something that you were able to build within them?
I learned it.
Okay.
Just from going through situations where, it was crunch time or tense situations. How do you respond? Who wants to be the person to say, hey, give me the ball? And we had a lot of guys like that.
You can find them.
We had a lot of guys like that. So it was tough juggling.
In those moments, you find out who those kids are.
Yeah, and you run and see who's built for it. So
wow. Okay.
I was impressed with those 4 guys for sure. We had a lot of other guys who were just...
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about some of the other kids that you're kind of working with right now that are standing out, and have they made commitments yet or anything?
Well, the guys who we have, those are the only guys who've committed. We have Malachi Salou. He's a linebacker from Central Catholic. Okay. He has a Hawaii Air Force Hawaii Army and Navy. I offered him a scholarship. He's probably going to end up getting a couple more. Mike Noyle from Madison High School. He's a shifty slot receiver. Very, very competitive, ultra competitive.
Height?
He's about 5'8", 5'9".
So he's quick.
He's a shifty guy.
Yeah,
he has an offer from University of Idaho.
Oh, wow.
Kaiway Natasa, Westland product. He's probably one of the best 2-way players in the state. You're gonna hear a lot about him this year. He's about 5'10". He has an offer from Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Air Force. Amir McGee. He also goes to Westland. He's a running back. He's a really, really stout kid. He's a really stout kid. He has an offer from Howard. And then we have a kid named Deshaun Neal. Oh. He's out of Hermiston, small town, but he is the real deal.
A diamond in the rough.
He is seriously a diamond in the rough.
Wow.
Literally. Like, whoever gets him will be very lucky.
Wow.
And we have a lot of guys. Vincenzo, Brad Bickler, Michael Terrace out of Vancouver, he's a quarterback. Simon Thompson, he's a 2019 kid out of West Salem, quarterback. He's a 4.0 kid, and he's like a track star.
Do you find any of the coaches, do they sometimes come by and talk to you? Or ask for tape or ask for anything from you?
Not really.
Sometimes?
You get a mixed vibe from certain coaches. Certain coaches really like it because they get to know their kids are doing something. And there's some coaches, they don't want their kids involved because it's not what they teach in their program, the tradition and stuff like that. So it's about like communicating with the coaches, and I'm definitely going to do a better job at that this summer, just reaching out and letting them know what we're going to be doing, what would they like for them to be learning and stuff like that. So you get a mixed vibe from different type of coaches, but for the most part, it's pretty cool.
Now, so for you and your coaches, what is the next vision as far as Team Lillard football?
Well,
7-on-7.
If I can comfortably say this year we didn't have a plan.
Okay.
We just wanted to help out, and I reached out to a couple of guys who I felt can have a passion to help kids and wanted to see people get better and move forward, and we just worked it out, and it worked out for us. So this year we plan on expanding, 8th grade team, maybe a 9th grade or underclass team, and then in a 12th grade 2019 team, elite.
Currently, what is your team now?
We just have a black team and a silver team.
Okay.
So we only had 2 teams, but we want to jump into middle school, kind of prepare for guys to create a full program so we can go into high school and guys can be like, oh, we've been with Team Lillard since 8th grade.
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
continue to grow every year. And now we know going into high school, this is the standard to get out. So now we don't have to wait till guys are in the 10th grade. We look at a transcript and we're like, oh, you need to fix this, fix that. So starting from 8th grade to help us create a full program. And that's kind of what we lean into.
And so going back to those coaches is that you have a couple from Florida, you have a couple from, maybe in the Arkansas area. So you got them all over. So really, do you see a vision maybe 5 years down the road, we'll just say 5 years or so, or less, that where you look at a regionalization going on with your team?
I definitely would like that. It wasn't a part of the plan, like I told you, so I think just following up with the next plan and dominating that, and then following up with the next plan, which would be probably going towards the Bay Area, Northern California, something like that, just so I can give back to where I grew up at, and helped a lot of the kids who are in the exact same situations as me, or friends that I had who couldn't play sports or couldn't do things or didn't never get on a plane or never been out of their own neighborhood. So that's kind of the next step.
You want to bring it back hometown.
Exactly.
But then again, you look at some of the other things like, say Nike has their opening where they have people at the campus and grabbing players from all over. But I think, again, growth is so important when you're talking about your organization. So it's good to have a vision in what you do.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Definitely. I'm definitely, like I told you earlier, this year we had a couple kids came from different places to come play with us just because they wanted them to be a part of Team Lillard.
And you had one in the Northeast coming all the way from Delaware?
From Delaware. We had a guy coming from Vegas and California. So this year, it was just because they wanted them to be a part of Team Lillard. We love what you guys represent. Right. And, we love all of that stuff. So now it's just putting a plan together to where we can really infiltrate and just create a big program and have a system going, a cycle to where we could just plug it into college. And then hopefully maybe we get to the pros from college.
Wow, that's a great goal. Now, how is your younger brother, Damian Lillard? Now, many in Oregon know that guy,
right.
Who's a professional basketball player here in the state of Oregon with the Portland Trailblazers. How has he helped you in business pursuits and growth as a person?
More than business pursuits, it's kind of odd. You never think a younger brother could help the older brother in business pursuits, but he's been in levels of meetings and situations and contracts that I've never ever seen before. So for him to go through and make decisions and be patient and be able to give a second and third and fourth opinion on things has been one of the things I've learned from him. He's not quick to react. He's not quick triggered to make a decision, especially in business. And that's one of the things that I value the most as far as what I'm doing, because everything sounds sweet when it's for you. You know what I mean? But everything comes with something. So you have to be good at understanding that it has to work 2 ways and be comfortable with it working the other way. So I think that's one of the biggest things in business I've learned from him since he's been a pro. And then it's just competition, man. Like, he running off. I gotta do something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not playing no more. And for a while we would compete with sports and I'd throw my touchdowns, but now it's like I want to impact the world. I want to impact people's lives. He's changing lives with his music. He's changing lives with what he represents, from being a basketball player to helping kids to how he represents himself, what he shows. Kids see how he represents himself, and he's not buying jewelry and throwing money in the club. He's giving messages and giving back. So
he has a sense of community, and so do you.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes down to that, but in different sectors. Of that. And so do you kind of bounce stuff off of each other in a way, right?
And he's also allowed me to be helped with Adidas and stuff like that.
Okay.
And his brand. This
there
is his
it is.
logo.
Yeah, I like that.
D, 3-stripe.
I like that.
But so outside of that, man, it's just supporting competition and just always raising the level of expectations.
Yeah, in a sense of excellence,
Exactly. He continues to rise and set the bar higher, and as long as he does that, we're going to be held to a higher standard, and it just helps everybody grow. So,
well, I want to give an opportunity to you, Houston, to first of all, thank you for being on our show here for
Appreciate
Football All the
it.
Time,
Thank
and
you.
really talking about your story, because again, I think here at the FATT Show, we really delve into mentorship. We delve into what was the turning point in a person's career. I mean, we talk about there's successes, right? And everybody has some level of the success. But the thing that we always promote here is how do you get there? And so we look at that. So I wanted to give you a little opportunity in front of the camera to be able to talk about, and tell people about Team Lillard and tell them why it's an important organization. You did tell a little bit about it, but when you're talking about people that are watching this show, especially kids that are thinking about possibly looking at development and skills in football, give a chance to our viewers out there to tell them a little bit about you and that sense of that organization and why it's important to join you.
Well, to the parents out there, I know you guys wonder who's talking to your kids, who's helping your kids, what do they represent. And I think just from obviously my family name and the Lillard and what my brother and me and my family represent, we're going to teach them the right ways how to be in life. We're going to help them grow, hold them accountable academically, teach them how to have confidence, approach everything with the mindset of dominating it and just being real. We don't really come with nothing fake. We come in real and raw, and we want to grow. And as far as the players, man, y'all know what time it is. Just come work and be real and be yourself. We don't want you to come be a robot. We don't want you to come and think that your stuff don't stink. Like, we all had success. We all graduated from college. We've all played professional, and we just want to get better. So come with 2 ears and 1 mouth and ready to work.
Great. Well, this is Kevin with the FATT Show, Kevin Menton with the FATT Show, where it is Lillard time on Team Lillard 7-on-7 football. We do thank you so much, Houston, for joining our show. We appreciate all that you're doing here in the state of Oregon, but then also too, when an aspect where you look at the goal of regionalizing your brand. And so we appreciate that very much. So again, thank you for watching. Please tune in and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, the FATT Show, where it's football all the time. We talk about many different aspects when it talks about football and people behind the scenes. So we thank you for watching, and have a great day.
Hello.